A very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about the new lesson called as metals and metal, which is the seventh lesson in your textbook. Now, you might have used, various objects. You might have seen these objects in your day-to-day life. All these objects or materials are either made up of elements or maybe compounds or sometimes even in the form of mixtures. Okay, now scientists have tried to classify all these different types of objects into three different types. That is, one is metals, non-metals, and third are metalloids. Okay, now you might have heard about the metals like iron or maybe copper, aluminum, gold, silver, platinum. Okay, whereas non-metals like carbon, phosphorus, calcium, nitrogen, oxygen, all these are called as non-metals. Whereas metalloids like silicon, which is used for making solar cells and all, and even the germanium, all these are called as the metalloids, so which has the properties in between the metals and the non-metals. Now let us see a little further. Now you know that everyday life we use the different types of metals, like for example in the jewelry is mostly made up of metals like gold and silver, whereas the utensils which we use for cooking are mostly made of iron, either iron, aluminum or copper. Fine. Then also the decorative articles may be either made up of gold or maybe silver. Correct? And then the electrical wires which we are using in our day-to-day life in our houses or homes is made up of the two metals called as copper and aluminum. Now there are even some of the non-metals which are useful to us, like for example non-metal like carbon in the form of coal can be used as a fuel for cooking. Okay, then non-metal like carbon in the form of diamond is used to make jewelry. Then carbon also in the form of graphite is used for making pencil cores, right? Then let us see another non-metal called as fluorine. Mostly toothpaste which we use early in the morning is made of fluorine, but it is in the form of a compound called as sodium fluoride. Then the packaged materials which you get in the market, like your the most favorite one called as the Lays and all these packets are preserved. How they are preserved? By the use of a gas called as nitrogen gas. Then in our day to day we use a very important non-metal called as oxygen. Okay, why? Because it is used by all the living organisms for breathing. So this is just a brief introduction about metals and non-metals. Okay, so now let us study about the metals in detail in this video today, and next time we are going to learn about the non-metals, right? So let us focus on what are metals. Now let us learn about what are metals, okay, and in short, and we will learn about their properties. Now you might have seen the metals like gold, silver, iron, copper, aluminum, at least heard about magnesium, calcium, sodium and platinum. Okay, now what are their basic properties? They have a luster. Now what does this luster means? Luster means you can see so bright and brilliant shine is there for the copper vessel, so that is called as the luster. So most of the metals have luster. That means almost all have the luster, whereas most of the metals are hard. Okay, except few. There are few exceptions for all the different properties. Okay, now let us see further what are the different properties. Then their long wires as well as sheets can be made from the metals. Now you might have seen wires in your houses, that is of the copper or maybe aluminum wire, because they have this property of something we are going to learn little further about it. So they can be drawn into thin wires as well as they can be made into thin sheets. Now you have heard about the Rutherford's gold foil experiment, in which it was very tiny, correct, right? So that means the metals can be drawn into thin sheets also. So you know about the gold foil. Then you might have also heard about the aluminum foil, which is used for wrapping the food packages or food materials, right? So they can be drawn into thin sheets as well as into a wire. Then metals are also good conductors of heat and electricity, so almost all, but since copper and aluminum are cheaper, they are used for electrical wiring, right? Now metals are good, aluminum vessels or iron are used for cooking food. Metals also lose their valence electrons to form the positively charged ions. Now this you have already heard in inside the atom, that is the outermost shell. If they have the valence electrons free, they can lose that electron to form a compound, and once they lose these electrons, they form their respective ions. Especially when they are losing the electrons, they are called as cations, but when they gain the electrons, they are called as anions. So anions are mostly the non-metals, okay, that we are not right now, we are not going to speak. So here we are going talking about the metals. So metals have a tendency to lose the electrons, valence electron. You know now what is valence electron, valence shell. Fine. So valence electrons to form the positively charged ions, and these positively charged ions are also called as cations. Okay, so here you can see a picture of sodium and magnesium forming cations. Fine. Now let us learn about the physical properties of the metals in detail. So first physical property is the physical state. Now you might have gone to a doctor along with your parents or maybe a relative, and if you might have seen them checking their blood pressure with the use of this instrument called as a sphygmomanometer. Okay, so this is mostly used to measure the blood pressure. But have you ever seen there is something inside this gray colored liquid is there which is rising up? So what is that? Do you know? Okay, so what is that liquid? Yes, you are guessing it right. It is nothing but mercury. Okay, so mercury is in the form of a liquid, but most of the metals are in the form of a solid state. So except a few like mercury, and second one is gallium, are in the liquid state. So all the metals except these two are in the solid state. So mercury and gallium are exceptions, they are in the form of a liquid state. Now let us go a little further. The second one is luster, that means shine. Okay, now let us perform a simple activity. You can see a copper vessel like this in your house. You might have, your mother is using this. So this copper vessel, if you see, before cleaning it is very dull, but after using this lemon you will find, and then pouring water you find that there is a shine. So what is the difference which you observe before cleaning and after cleaning the vessel? We see that before cleaning the vessel was very dull. Okay, whereas after cleaning it got a shine or a luster after washing it with the water, and so it became shiny. So this shine itself is called as, okay, so light gets reflected from the clean surface of a metal and the metal look lustrous. So all the metals are lustrous. Okay, so that means they have a brilliant shine because light can be reflected from this. So light reflects even from a freshly cut surface of a metal, due to which the metal surface appears lustrous. You can see two examples here. Now let us see now about the hardness. Hard means most metals are generally hard. You can see except the few, there are exceptions for everything. So here also there are exceptions like metals. Examples are sodium and potassium, which are very soft in nature and you can easily cut them with the help of a knife. Otherwise all the metals are very hard. So you can see how it can be cut with the help of a knife. Okay, now let us see the next property, that is called as a ductility. You might have visited, you might have gone to a goldsmith shop, and there you might have seen a goldsmith making a wire of a gold or a silver. So when metal is pulled through a hole, its wire is formed. So this property of the metal is called as ductility. So the definition of ductility, you can call it as the property of metals to be drawn into thin wires, is called as ductility. Okay, so you have seen the electrical wires, that is, it consists of the copper wire or maybe the aluminum wire. So these, because of this property of ductility, they are made into thin wires. Even the gold can be drawn, silver can be drawn into thin wires because they have this property called as ductility. Fine. Now let us continue with the next property, that is called as malleability. That means it is about the thin sheet. Now if you take an iron nail and try to keep it on the platform and try to keep on hammering with the help of a hammer, you will find that after some time it will turn into a thin sheet. So this property of metals to be beaten into thin sheets is also called as malleability. Remember dear students, malleability is thin sheets and ductility is making of wire. Okay, wires are ductile, malleable are sheets. So remember like that. Okay, so malleability is a property of the metals to be beaten into thin sheets. Okay, so here you could see that iron also can be drawn into a thin sheets. So gold foil, aluminium, all these silver foil which is used for wrapping the sweets and all. So it is nothing but because of the property called as malleability. Okay. Okay, now next property is called as the conduction of heat. So generally metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. So aluminum is one of the example and copper also is another example for both electricity as well as heat. Now let us try to do one example, activity here. So you need to take a copper sheet like this and fix at one end wax. Now try to hit the other end of this copper plate. Now what do you observe here? After some time you will find that the wax starts melting, okay, and it will fall off from the copper plate. Now why does this happen? It is happening because there is conduction of the heat. The heat is getting conducted or transferred, okay, from one end of the one end to the other end, which results in the melting of the wax. So that means this property is there for the metals, that metals are good conductors of heat, and that is why they are used for cooking. Okay, very good examples of best conductors of heat are silver, copper and aluminum, and that is why you find your utensils which you use in your house are mostly made up of copper and aluminum. Yes, silver were also used, but in the olden days. Now we cannot afford so costly metals for preparing our food. So at the time during the reign of the kings and all, at that time this metal like silver or gold were also used. Nowadays it is impossible for us to buy even silver, correct? So we use mostly copper or aluminum vessels and even iron for making bhakris and all, right? Now next let us see conduction of electricity. Okay, so metals are also good conductors of electricity. So if you just press you see that copper wire conducts electricity. Okay, so copper and aluminum are used to make electrical wires because they are cheaper. Whereas there is an exception which is lead is another lead is a exception for this because it's neither a good conductor of heat nor a good conductor of electricity. So lead is exception in the metal for conduction of heat and electricity. Now the next property is density. Now how dense it is. Okay, so mostly generally all the metals have high density. Okay, there are exceptions like sodium, potassium and lithium are exceptions for having less density, lower, and their density is lower than water. If you see, lithium's density is very less, that is around 0.53 grams per cubic cc. So density of water is 1 gram per cubic cc. So you can see the density of lithium is less as compared to that of the water. So when its density is less, they will be floating on the water, correct? Whereas when the density is more than water, they will be settling down, how you can see in the upper part of the chart like this. So aluminum, iron and copper, you can see in those cylinders that they are settling down. Okay, why? Because they have a higher density. Fine. So this is regarding the density. Then the next property is melting and boiling point. So melting and boiling point of the metals are high. Okay, for example, the melting point of iron is around 1535 degrees Celsius. So that means you need to heat it a lot. So you cannot generally keep it on the gas stove and try to melt it, because it does not have that much heat energy, but it requires to get melted in the furnace. Okay, that is why we can use the iron utensils for a very long time. It cannot get melted because its melting point is very high. You can see 1535 degrees Celsius only melting point. Boiling point is the further, that is around 2750 degree. Once it has become a liquid, just go on heating it for a longer time, and then when the temperature reaches around 2750 degrees Celsius, it start boiling, bubbles will be coming. So there are few exceptions again here, like mercury, gallium, sodium and potassium are exceptions for this because they have lower melting point. Now these metals have comparatively low melting points and boiling point. Let us see now each one of them. Mercury's melting point is around minus 38.83 degrees Celsius, whereas its boiling point is around 356.7 degrees Celsius, and that is why it is used in the thermometer as well as in the sphygmomanometer, because its boiling point is 356.7 degrees Celsius. Whereas the next one is gallium, whose melting point is around 29.76 degrees Celsius, whereas its boiling point is around 2400 degrees Celsius. Then sodium's melting point is around 97.8 degrees Celsius, okay, which can be even cut with the help of a knife, and its boiling point is around 883 degrees Celsius. And last one is a potassium, whose melting point is 63.38 degrees Celsius, whereas its boiling point is around 759 degrees Celsius. So this is regarding the boiling and melting point. Now let's continue with the next part, that is sonority. Now you might have heard about you might have not heard about this. Now sonority is nothing but a ringing sound. Just hear the bangle which is falling now, it will be making some sound, and this sound is called as a ringing sound. I hope so you have heard about the sound of this bangle. Okay, so it's a ringing sound. So do you know from which metal is your school bell made? Yes. So it's nothing but the metal called as the iron. It consists of the iron disc above, and there is a iron gong also. Okay, so that it will be striking on the iron disc, and that sound comes. Okay, okay, ringing sound comes here. Fine. So metals are sonorous. That means when you just heat them with the help of a spoon, you will get to hear the sound, sonorous. So always remember, now this is the last part. The metals like gold, silver and aluminum are highly malleable metals. They can be drawn into thin sheets. So thin sheets means how much thickness of it. A sheet with thickness of 1/10,000 millimeter. And that means if you divide a millimeter, if you can take with the help of a scale, you can see how much is 1 millimeter. That millimeter, if you try to divide how many times? 10,000 times. If you try to divide, you cannot see also, correct? So that much thickness only you can call it as thickness or thinness, I don't know, but that much is you can draw up to this much thickness. Okay, so a sheet with thickness of 1/10,000 millimeter and a wire with a diameter of around 1/5,000 millimeter can be made from gold. Okay, so you can see a thickness of gold leaf microscope, that is the gold leaf experiment. Okay, whereas Rutherford also used gold foil for his experiment. Then diameter of around 1/5,000 millimeter, that is of the gold, because it is highly malleable metal. Okay, so this is regarding the the physical properties of the metals. Now next time we are going to learn about the chemical properties of the metals and even physical states, physical properties of the non-metals. So till we meet again in the next video, bye and thank you dear students.